To the inhabitants of this makeshift village, they stand on hallowed ground. Thousands of believers have made an October pilgrimage to the holy shrine of dirt racing, Syracuse, and the Moody Mile. Some come to celebrate and declare their allegiance to the car. Others are summoned to bask in the sunlight of recognition and proclaim their significance. Still others need to stand with and worship their hero. The chosen respond in kind, favoring their admirers with a kind word. It is a festival of faith. Until race day. Then, jaws tight, eyes narrow, throats parch. Today, faith must become a reality. This is the big one. It's the Eckerd 200. Next.
This is the Moody Mile, the New York State Fairgrounds. We're in Syracuse, New York. Today, this ancient speedway will test man and machine. It's the ultimate dirt modified race every year, the 35th running of the Eckerd 200. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Shane Andrews alongside Mark Kenyon and Andy Fusco will be on pit road for us here today. Back in the early 1970s, a young short track promoter named Glenn Donnelly had a dream. He wanted to bring the dirt modifieds to this racetrack for the first ever Eckerd 200. He did so. He lost $7,000 in the bargain, but the dream lived on, and now this is the Super Bowl of this form of racing.
This is the biggest event for the dirt modified drivers. You go through the pit area at any dirt motorsports sanctioned racetrack and ask the drivers what race you want to win. They will tell you the Eckerd 200. Only a few drivers have found fame and fortune by winning this race, but many drivers have left this racetrack heartbroken because they failed at winning this event.
As tough as this race is to win, in recent years, one driver has emerged as the kingpin here. He's standing by with Mark Kenyon.
Super Dirt Week. It's all it's cracked up to be. It's big, it's Daytona, it's Indy, it's everything rolled into one. It's the biggest race these guys do. Win Super Dirt Week, you make your career. Win it 4 times, you're a legend. With me is Billy Decker. Billy, you know how to win this race. My first question to you is, do you still get nervous?
Oh, you better believe I get nervous. It's like Bob McCready said, this is the holy grail of dirt racing, and if you're not tense in this situation, you're never going to be, I can tell you that.
We're watching this racetrack, and I've really never seen it be this good. I think there's going to be a top side. What do you think the strategy is going to be today? Because, you know, the fuel mileage will play a factor, but as far as driving, your job in the car.
I think it's more of the same. You got to get good track position and make the most of it. You know, we bring this gypsum wholesaler car is just awesome, and I'm surrounded by great people. And that's part of what it takes to win here. And I think we win a lot of our races right in the shop. As far as today's concerned, you know, it's going to be a shot from the hip like it was last year when things got messed up a little bit. But I like my chances. Like I said, I'm surrounded by good people, and Scott's calling the shots from the pit side. And as you can see, we've been accustomed to doing a few unorthodox things now and again, like pit under green and stuff like that. And he makes a call. I have a ton of faith in him, and that's what it takes.
Can you go 112, 113 laps? Because we see if the yellow comes out at 87, 88, somebody's going to try to make a run. Is that a strategy that if the yellow falls right, you'll try?
Well, I think it's got to be in the mix of thoughts. You know, it just depends on when the yellow falls. A lot of it's relative to the speed of the racetrack too. I mean, it seems like we had one shorter day this year, but the speeds are really starting to take stride. Yesterday, you looked at the end of the race, and them 3 leaders, you know, when it come down to crunch time, them guys really stepped up the pace and knocked a second and a half off, and it was game on at that stage. And today could be more of the same. It's relative to how fast the track is going to be and what you feel you're doing to your race car as far as tearing off the right rear. Can you conserve a little fuel? And it's going to take a guess in the middle of the race to make the right call.
Billy Decker, 4 wins at Super Dirt Week today, looking for 1 for the thumb.
At the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse, New York, preparing for the start of the Eckerd 200 in front of the usual packed house here on a beautiful fall Sunday afternoon. Field of 46 modified cars and drivers. Tim Fuller will lead him to green in car number 19, and Pat Ward will start alongside in the Gypsum Express. Jimmy Phelps lines up third in the 98, and Jeff Trombley in car number 21.
Row number 3, we find Jack Johnson and son Ronnie Johnson. He'll go away from the 6th spot. Row number 4, on the inside, Alan Johnson, 3-time winner, and 4-time winner Billy Decker in the 91.
In the 5th row this afternoon as the field goes down pit road to learn the pit road speed, Bobby Barron in the 1. Danny Johnson, the doctor, who won another race here this weekend in the 27. Richie Tobias starts in the 6th row with Frank Cozy in car number 44.
Brett Hearn in the number 20, 5-time Eckerd 200 winner, and David Hebert in the number 1 will be in row 7. Row number 8, Justin Hares in the 3 car, and the Hurricane Steve Payne in the number 7.
Back to row number 9 here at Syracuse. Todd Burley in car number 62. Chad Brackman, who was such a strong runner in the 358 race, in car number 3. Kenny Brightbill from Sinking Springs, Pennsylvania, one of the great veterans, and J.R. Hefner will make up the 10th row.
Row number 11, Matt Shepard in the number 44, and rookie Kenny Stafford in the number 60 car. Row 12, Jeff Hetzler out of Wallkill, New York, and Donnie Corellis in the number 21.
Back to the 13th row, veteran Dale Plank in the 77 with Alton Palmer alongside in car number 76. Wayne Jelly in the 45. He's 11 Valley regular, and Ridgefield, Connecticut's Eddie Marshall in the 98.
Andy Bicchetti in the 4 car will start 29th. Next to him, Jimmy Horton in the number 42. Row 16, Tom Sears Jr. in the 83, and Vinny Vitale in the 56.
Steve Halsizer has the 88 car alongside Rick Lawbox 5 in the 17th row. And back to the 18th row, Vic Coffey in the Sweeteners Plus car, and Gary Tompkins in car number 84.
Martin Roy's number 90, and Jessica Zemkin making her first big block start on the mile back in row 19. Billy Dunn, a rookie in this race, and Ryan Godown in the 26 in row 20.
Last couple of rows, Kenny Tremont in the 115. Keep your eye on him. Chad Phelps in the X. 22nd row, Brian McDonald's 151. Small block standout Pete McNell in the 42.
Row number 23, Jeff Brownell Jr. in the 3 car, and Pat O'Brien in the 6 car will start 46.
And we have seen drivers win this race from pretty deep in the field. Now, it'd be a tall order from back in 46th, but as the fans rise to cheer on their favorite drivers, it can be done here at Syracuse.
Alan Johnson did it in 1989, just getting into the show through the non-qualifiers race.
Couple of onboard looks for you. Billy Decker lines up in the 4th row in that Gypsum Express car number 91. He is a master here, going for his 5th win. The Dr. Danny Johnson in row number 5 in the 27. And he goes for the double here this week, Shane.
He won the 358 modified race earlier this week.
Tim Fuller carries one of our onboard cameras as well. He'll start from the pole in the JL Motorsports car number 19. He'll try to keep these guys back there all afternoon. Shane, it's a warm day. The sun shines. What will we see here this afternoon?
We're going to see some fast speeds. This track has gotten faster each and every day that we have been here, but the drivers have to be aware of tire wear. They cannot use up those Hoosier tires too early.
Tire wear, pit stops, always key issues here. Jimmy Phelps in the 98 starts 3rd. Tim Fuller is on the pole. Glad to have you with us for the Eckerd 200. Pat Ward on the outside of row number 1. Safety car dives for pit road, and we are right on one car into the wall before we get to the green.
David Hebert in the number 1 car, hitting the wall a ton up in corner number 4, Rick. Wow, what a shot.
Wheel rolling free from the 1 car as Hebert piled into the concrete a ton. You know, you've got to think he might have had some help there coming out of turn 4.
Not sure what happened. Everybody right there in a pack as they come off the turn. Anything can happen here at Syracuse, and it usually does.
Take another look at what happened, and there's Hebert. He's got the wheels cranked hard left, and that car just would not turn.
Once you get out of the groove, you're just along for the ride.
Take a look here. He lined up alongside Brett Hearn in that blue number 20. Now, did Hearn get into him in the Nerf bars?
Boy, it's hard to see if something broke in the front end or if they did make contact, and Hebert up against the wall. Second time in 3 years he has not made it out of turn number 4 for the start of the Eckerd 200.
Canadian contender David Hebert with the dirt safety crew helping him across the racetrack. He's okay, has the helmet off, but you've got to figure he will not be able to restart in car number 1. And here comes Hearn now in that Wentworth construction car rolling down the backstretch.
Looks like he's just shaking it down, making sure everything is okay. Maybe we'll get a look right here at the right side of the car. Doesn't look like there's any damage to the number 20.
Doesn't appear that there was any contact. Now his team taking a look, saying everything's okay. And here's some of Hebert's team. They're getting into it a little bit here.
This is a big race, heated discussion.
Difference of opinion as to what happened in turn 4, Mark Canyon.
2 crews, Martin Roy, also a French-Canadian. The Hebert crew obviously communicating in their native tongue, but nobody is happy down here. I don't know what went on. We're going to try to get a word in here. Hebert's car, obviously, the wheel off, and it looks like he's done. The crew stands here, and the Hearn crew not unaccustomed to controversy.
This is a big race. Everybody wants to win it. No surprise to see somebody pointing fingers at one another.
Well, David Hebert's race very short here at Syracuse. We'll be back. Welcome back on Speed. The field under caution. Laps counting now after that David Hebert incident. Mark Kenyon's caught up with Brett Hearn's team. Mark, what are they saying there? Is the 20 car going to be okay?
We're down here with Vinny Slender. Vinny, what happened out there? The Hebert crew and everybody up in arms?
Well, nobody really knows, but Brett said the tire looked like it just fell off the car. I don't know if something broke on his car or what, but we're okay, I think.
Brett say anything about the car, about the front end? Did he knock anything loose?
No, I think we're okay.
Okay, that's a word from the Hearn camp.
Vinny Salerno, the owner of Brett Hearn's 358 Modified, taking a minute to talk to us as they went into turn number 4, Rick. Looks like there was some contact made between Hearn and Hebert.
Well, it is a little rough here. It's dusty, and everybody's on the gas hard. You're coming to the start, and they just did seem to get together a little. The comment from Salerno seemed to indicate perhaps a wheel was loose on Hebert's car. Now, Kenny Tremont has brought the 115 to pit road for a splash of fuel.
Nice little strategy by the 1999 winner. He was a past winner's provisional. He failed to qualify for the Eckerd 200 and was added to the field.
Now, the laps have been counting as we've been under caution since Hebert's trip into the concrete off turn 4. Ready to go single file this time. Fuller, Pat Ward, right behind him, Jimmy Phelps in the 98, and we're racing again at Syracuse. One car venturing out way high out of turn 4. That's Richie Tobias. He wants 6th here going into 1.
No surprise to see Tobias go to the top side. He likes to run the top shelf here at Syracuse. A few years ago, back in the late 90s during a non-qualifiers race, he passed a bunch of cars up there and then did it again, starting 41st in that Eckerd 200.
Well, on a flat mile, there's just a lot of rubber down here. And to say it's dry slick doesn't begin to describe this place. There's no cushion to hook up to. You're really taking a gamble. Billy Decker 8th in that 91 car.
Remember what we saw in the 358 Modified race with Chad Brockman and Danny Johnson? They made the top side work, and you know Tobias was watching that race very intently to see if the top side would come around.
Riding with Decker as he hits the backstretch. Decker, a master of this place, 4 Eckerd 200 victories in his career, dating back to 1998. There he is in that Gypsum Express car number 91. Trying to take care of his tires. A master at playing the fuel mileage game as well. Tim Fuller in clean air. He has led all the way so far.
Having a very good run. Fuller, 1 win in the Eckerd 200 back in 2004. He only led 1 lap. That was the last half mile of the race when Kenny Tremont ran out of gas.
Second belongs to Decker's teammate Pat Ward in the Gypsum Express 42. He had a good run earlier this week in that 358 Modified show as well. And Jimmy Phelps kind of an unheralded contender in that 98 car as we ride with Fuller.
Jimmy Phelps has really helped that H&H Motorsports team get to this level. He won one of the triple 20 qualifying events here earlier this week, put him in the top starting positions. As a matter of fact, started 3rd.
7 laps go on the board of the 200. Here at the New York State Fairgrounds, the capstone to the 35th renewal of Super Dirt Week. We're glad to have you with us, showing you the top 6. Jack and Ronnie Johnson back there in contention. Jack Johnson in his 60s now in that 12 car. And there's Alan Johnson in the 14. No relation. Looks as though he'll be the Mr. Dirt champion of the big blocks this season. But the driver on the move, hiking that inside front wheel out of turn 4 is Richie Tobias. He's up to 4th, Mark Kenyon.
I'm down here with Rich Francis. Rich, you know, I know Richie a long time, raced with him. He's put on a furious pace. Can he withstand this pace?
Well, it's really Richie's out there just pacing it, nursing it a little bit right now. He's not showing his cards. The Troyer's handling great this week. The rain we had earlier in this week has put a lot of grip into this track, something we're not used to here at Syracuse. So Rich is just out there. He feels comfortable. He's putting on a real easy pace. We're going to conserve the tires and maybe hold the fuel off. But we're looking for a real strong finish for the Senko oil cars today with a lot of help from Billy Colton from Troyer. We really appreciate it. But Richie's just out there cruising around like a USAC Silver Crown car right now.
If he's nursing it, Rick, I feel sorry for the other 45 competitors in this field because he just drove around Jack Johnson like the jumper was tied to a tree.
Well, the way to pass here at Syracuse is on the outside, and Richie Tobias picking up that inside front wheel as though he was driving a midget on a quarter-mile asphalt racetrack. He is just hustling that car, headed toward the front. Let's move back a little bit, check in with Brett Hearn there in the Wentworth 20 car. Hearn settling into the top 15. There's the 44 car trying to chase him down. Hearn seems to be okay.
He seems to be okay. The guy right behind him is smoking that right rear sneaker. That's Steve Payne in the number 7X as they do battle.
Down into turn number 1, the Hurricane, Steve Payne. He's been a very strong competitor in dirt modified racing for a long time. You know Hearn's story, out of New Jersey. They called him the corporate jet for many years. He's the guy who's really made this a major league form of motorsport in the Northeast over the last 20, 25 years.
He's won this event 5 times, but he hasn't won since 1995. You see his crew looking on. Doesn't look like there's any damage after that incident with the David A. Bear #1 machine at the start.
Well, Hearn's luck at Syracuse the last many years, both on the small block side and on the big block side, has been nothing short of horrendous, and he would love nothing more than to see the checkered flag in that car today. Kind of let the finish take care of itself as we show you the top 6 with 16 laps on the board. And we'll move back. Trombley is in 7th. Ronnie Johnson, Billy Decker making up the top 9. One car dive into pit road. Leader all the way so far has been Tim Fuller in that 19. Ward is 2nd now.
Pat Ward has been sensational this week in that number 42P machine. Put that car on the outside of the front row. Of course, teammates to Billy Decker, so there's a lot of knowledge to be shared within that team.
On board with Fuller, looking back at Ward's car. Jimmy Phelps comfortably in 3rd in the 98. Phelps' career really took a turn for the better this season when he hooked up with a veteran crew chief.
Yes, he did. Randy Kosacki was brought in for the H&H Motorsports team. That team owned by Al Hankey and John Howland, and they have really put together a package with Billy Colton from Troyer. That is the Troyer house car that you see in position number 3.
Richie Tobias, meantime, in the USA 1 out of Pennsylvania, on the move. He is 4th, and he's reeling in the leaders on the backstretch.
Boy, they know he's coming, too. They can use spotters in this race, and you know those spotters are telling the top 3 Tobias is charging, and he's using the top to get there.
Take it back now and check in with Danny Johnson in that 27J. Whipped the field in the 358 small block portion of Super Dirt Week earlier. 10th right now, and Johnson comfortable out there, I'd say.
The doctor using the Hans device. You notice the extra padding that he has for the headrest and everything. You're turning some pretty good speeds here on the mile, and Danny Johnson giving himself some extra protection.
He's trying to reel in Billy Decker there in the 91, the red car directly in front. We talked about Decker. He's got one of our onboard cameras as well. Master of fuel strategy here, 4 times a winner of this race.
And you can see why he's a master of fuel strategy. Did you hear when he got off the throttle, just let it roll smoothly right in the corner? Car didn't even wiggle that much, and then right back on the gas when he gets to the straightaway.
Now, conventional wisdom here is that you want to keep the car as straight as possible. Now, Richie Tobias has just thrown that right out the window as Decker closes in on Ronnie Johnson in the 2 car.
Similar to racing on asphalt, because this track does get that hard and that slippery, so you have to be gentle on the throttle, otherwise you're going to spin your tires.
Side by side, down into the corner. There's Ronnie Johnson, Danny Johnson, that back there, no relation. On board with Decker, the doctor right behind him. They're 9th and 10th.
These drivers are just riding around right now, Rick, getting a feel of their race cars. They don't want to push it too hard. They want to save it for the end of this race. Feel one another out. You can learn a lot about the guys you're racing against. But you're not only racing against each other, you're racing against the track.
Meantime, battle for 2nd starting to take shape down into 3. Ward in that red 42, Phelps in that blue and white 98 car doing battle. And I think Phelps may be deciding for himself, hey, I don't want Fuller to get too far out of sight here.
This is the best.
Oh, trouble, the 32C, the Sweeteners Plus car. Vic Coffey with a blown motor.
A tough break for Vic Coffey out of Leicester, New York, the 2002 winner in the Sweeteners Plus 32C.
Now, he will not see the checkered flag here today. That motor is gone, and Coffey will have to take that car to pit road and use the backstretch entrance up on the cinder track and get that car out of harm's way. But we will stay green here this afternoon at Syracuse.
Tough break for Coffey. Started 38th on the grid.
No change up in front. The leader remains Fuller in the 19. Ward is 2nd. Phelps putting a lot of pressure on him, though, in that 98 car. And he turns inside. He wants 2nd spot on the backstretch.
Got a good shot off of corner number 2. Does he have enough to make the pass? Yes, he does. A good move by Jimmy Phelps. Set Pat Ward up. The opening on the bottom, and he took advantage of it.
Ward was clearly holding Phelps up as Phelps moves quickly past the 42. And now we'll see if Tobias will try to go by the 42 as well. Richie Tobias clearly with the fastest car in the place for the first 20-plus miles, but he's stuck back there in 4th. Fuller's led all the way so far at Syracuse. Welcome back. We're in Syracuse, New York, the place they call the Moody Mile at the New York State Fairgrounds. With Shane Andrews, I'm Rick Benjamin, Mark Kenyon, and Andy Fusco on pit road for us. Tim Fuller in that 19 has led all the way so far. Nowhere close to 50 miles on the board, Shane, but these teams, I'm sure, are already starting to think about pit strategy, and there are no rules, basically.
That's right. You can pit and whatever you want, anytime you want. You don't have to make a mandatory pit stop. It is wide open. And you're right, they are starting to think about pit strategy, as there are 2 races in one within this Eckerd 200. Some guys will run for the halfway bonus of $5,000, while others are going to try and set themselves up for the big win.
Richie Tobias riding nicely in fourth. Now, he was very quick early. It seems as though he's settled in fourth. He may have a lot in reserve. He's been the only driver we've been able to see who's been able to consistently use a higher line and pass cars on the outside, but he's comfortable right now in that USA 1.
In this portion, Tim Fuller's setting the pace of the race. If somebody gets close to him, we'll see if he can pick up the pace himself. But right now, everybody just riding it out, feeling their cars, waiting to see what the car in front of them is going to do if we see a caution.
Very impressive early run for Jimmy Phelps in that 98, the H&H car. Take you back a little further in the field. It was Pat Ward on the 42P. Started on the outside pole. He's settled in third now in front of Tobias.
And those top 4 cars have really opened up an advantage over the rest of the field. So these drivers right now working in their own little pack, pulling away from everybody else.
As is typical here in Syracuse on a sunny, hot afternoon, the dust starts to become a factor here. Even though they take good care of this racetrack, it is dry. So, one car in trouble. That's Jessica Zipkin in the 1 car. Looks as though that motor has blown up big time. Huge fire in turn 4. Second caution of the day.
Young lady out of Sprakers, New York, the first woman to start an Eckerd 200 in its 35th year.
And Shane, she's been spending most of her time in sprint cars. She's done very well there.
She started out racing a Sportsman on the dirt tracks here in central New York, jumped into the 360s, has a couple of wins. She's even dabbled in the 410s with the World of Outlaw sprint cars.
And Jessica Zemkin safely out of that Native Poker car number 1. Safety crew right there. Here it is, car on fire from the engine compartment.
Tony Laughing from Native Poker put this team together here for Super Dirt Week, specifically for Jessica Zemkin to get some experience on the mile.
So the safety crew here at the fairgrounds has put the fire out. Jessica's shaken, but walking back to pit road under her own power. So we're under caution. Pit road is open now. Second caution of the day. And who will we see on pit road, I wonder?
Well, it doesn't look like Tim Fuller's going to get dive down, or Jimmy Phelps, or Pat Ward, or Tobias. Not too many cars in the top 5.
So the leaders will stay on the racetrack, but here comes the doctor. Danny Johnson says, hey, I'll take the opportunity maybe for a splash of fuel.
This really isn't a bad strategy to pull into the pits, get a splash of fuel, maybe change a tire, but it also leaves pit road open so you have more room to work.
Now the Wentworth team for Brett Hearn, they're going to go to work as well. Right rear tire going on the Troyer 27J of Johnson along with fuel.
Dave Thompson, the owner of that Danny Johnson team, Mike Burdick, he is the crew chief making the shots here today, and they are going to put a new sneaker on. Let's see if this will get them the distance, or will they come back for another one later on?
Have to help Danny get the 27J fired up, but he rolls down pit road. Hearn's team, meantime, they change your right rear on the Wentworth 20 car. Several other cars taking the opportunity to come to pit road as well.
Looked like they were taking a little extra time on the Hearn car as Matt Shepard pulls away, just making sure there wasn't any damage to the car after that start with David Hebert.
Well, you won't lose a lap, certainly, under these circumstances on a 1-mile racetrack, so you've got time to take a look at the car, change things if you need to. Andy Fusco.
Jessica Zemkin, the first girl to ever run in this race. I'm sure a ride back in the ambulance is not what you had in mind.
No, not at all. It was very short-lived. We had some engine problems for this week. It was kind of a last-minute throw-together deal, but I took it up, and glad I did. It was a lot of fun. Got some laps around this place, and we made the show, and it's a pretty big accomplishment, and got to go out there and run with the guys for a little while, and motor just didn't last too long on me, that's all.
And you're injured a little bit. What's the matter?
Just now?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. There's oil obviously running out all over the place, so there's probably a hole in the pan. Actually, my leg was on fire there for a minute. It scared me a little bit, but just guess it wasn't built to hold up to the mile.
There's a tough customer. Are you injured? Nah, my leg was just on fire.
Well, Jessica Zemkin's first trip to Syracuse in a big block car, short-lived today, but she's got a good spirit about how things went. We'll be back at the New York State Fairgrounds. Under caution, getting set for a restart here at the New York State Fairgrounds in the Eckerd 200. There's Danny Johnson, Brett Hearn, Matt Shepard. They'll line up 30th, 31st and 32nd when we go green here. Mark Kenyon, how does tire wear look on pit road?
Early on already, Danny Johnson's right rear tire came off the car. It looked very good. They're already talking about leaving the tires on the car and a gas and go. So the strategy starts from lap 1, and I'll tell you what, keep an eye on Danny. He's on a roll, just won a couple of big races, and he's pumped up. I talked to him earlier. He said, let it happen.
Obviously, Danny Johnson has a very good handling race car where there's no tire wear. Billy Decker looks like the left rear quarter panel's crunched in.
Yeah, we're going to take another look at what happened. This is Chad Brackman here as they were getting ready to restart.
Ouch. Comes up, he just gives him a shot. Wow.
Brackman perhaps expected Billy Decker to be on the gas a little more at that point. Now we're ready for another restart here at the New York State Fairgrounds. Tim Fuller in that 19 car, the J&L Motorsports entry. He's been on top all the way. Jimmy Phelps, though, putting heat on him in the 98 car.
Phelps has been impressive with the H&H machine, staying right there. A good way to learn some experience around this mile is follow a guy who's raced here before and has won here before.
Matt Ward is third in the red 42, the Gypsum Express entry. He's Decker's teammate. Fourth belongs to Richie Tobias in that USA 1, and then a pack of cars putting pressure on Tobias, and one car in some trouble. Is that Ronnie Johnson?
Yes, it is. That is RJ pulling off the backstretch. A tough break. He started in the top 6. His race is over.
Ronnie Johnson, his dad Jack, who's been running this race almost since the start, in the 12 car, still in competition here this afternoon. Top 3 unchanged as they race through turn number 2, 36 laps up on the board. And Ward in the top 3. There's Tobias and the Johnsons. Jack is 5th and Allen back there in 6th.
Jeff Trombley's quietly working back there in 7th. Billy Decker is 8th. Chad Brockman, a very good one, back in position number 9.
Watching the 42P of Pat Ward. He's never won this race. He's been close a couple of times.
Best finish was a 3rd place run. He's actually won here on the mile back when we used to race on Labor Day, but now this is the only time that these drivers come to the mile, and he's looking to get that big payoff.
Back on board with Tim Fuller, started from the pole. He's led all the way thus far. Back at the 2nd place machine of Jimmy Phelps. Phelps, I think, has decided, hey, I'll run 2nd for a while. I'll settle down, take care of the car. Good strategy, I think, at this time of the race. Let's go back a little further in the field. Donnie Corellis, Vinny Vitale in the 56 car, and Danny Johnson, 24th, 5th, and 6th right now.
Danny took a look to the top side. We saw him do that in the 358 race. He's going to have to do that to get by the cars in front of him now, as he is mired in the back of the pack.
Well, Danny Johnson's gained 4 spots since the previous restart as he works his way down the front straightaway, tucked in behind Vitale there in that red and yellow 56 car.
Matt Shepard just made a nice move on the top side to get around Gary Tompkins. Now Shepard closing right in on the back deck leg of the Doctor. Any door that the Doctor opens, you know Matt Shepard's going to try and follow him through.
And Danny Johnson on the outside down the backstretch will whistle by Vitale and pick up another position.
Boy, that's a tough place to pass.
Oh, trouble. Car in trouble. 3rd caution of the day here on lap 43. It's the 90 car. Martin Roy, another Martin Roy in trouble. And we are under caution again at the Moody Mile. Pit crews at the ready. We could see some pit stops upcoming here.
I think a lot of drivers are going to hit pit lane. This is their opportunity for the first time to make a tire change.
We'll see if the race leader, Tim Fuller, decides to make his first stop of the day. Jack Johnson's crew ready with tires. We'll be back. Welcome back to Syracuse, the New York State Fairgrounds. Under caution, race leader Tim Fuller has dropped to the inside. Shane, I think he's going to come to pit road for his first stop of the day. Looks like Jimmy Phelps will stay out there, though.
Interesting strategy by Phelps to stay out on the racetrack, looking to get a little bonus money, maybe.
That is also in on pit road. Several other drivers deciding to stop. To Mark Kenyon.
Pat Ward down through the pits and hot to the attention of his crew. Jack Johnson, the 62-year-old, puts it in the pits, and right behind him, Alan Johnson. Now the pits are crowded. Trombley, Decker, Farron, everybody in here. All the crews up, lug nuts flying. Decker's crew having a little trouble with the right rear. Jack's crew having trouble with the gas can. These stops are not precise, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be exciting. Hearn, last one to pull in. Hearn, the last one off the track. He had trouble stopping the car.
Jeff Trombley beats everybody out of pit road as Tim Fuller was the first one in the 4th car out.
Alan Johnson there in car number 14, a guy who certainly knows how to get the job done here. He is down and away. Not even a pit road speed limit here at Syracuse. And here comes Decker in that Gypsum Wholesalers 91, 4-time winner, and the Fuller team high-fiving each other. burned down and away in the Wentworth construction car.
Wayne Jelly almost clipped him with number 45. No pit road speed. You get in and get out as quick as you can.
We've called this rush hour on dirt for a long time, and it's nowhere more rushed than right here at Syracuse on pit road. What about Bobby Varon's team? They've got trouble with the left rear tire.
Bobby Varon coming into town this weekend with the Gable Motorsports team. This is the team that Brett Hearn drove for last year. A very potent ride. He had high expectations coming into this event.
But it looks as though Varon's chances for winning may go away here because he may get caught on pit road. Now they're going to keep the caution out. There'll be another lap before green, but it looks like he will go a lap down on pit road. Let's have a look at what the restart order looks like. Jimmy Phelps will lead him back to green next time by. And trouble for the Stafford team. Kenny Stafford's car's on fire on pit road.
Looks like the overflow for the gas for the Sonova Race Fuels. They're wasting no time getting the kid out of his car. Remember, he won the Sportsman race last year here at the mile.
Just 18 years of age. The dirt safety crew here at the fairgrounds quickly on the scene with fire bottles, but that will likely end his day as well. 26th on the board when he brought that 60 car to pit road for its pit stop, first pit stop of the day. Kenny Stafford out, has the helmet off, looks like he's okay. Safety car back in. Jimmy Phelps will lead them to green for the restart here as they work their way into turn number 3. Richie Tobias stayed out in the USA 1.
I mentioned some bonus money. There's lap money that is paid for every lap that you lead, but this is a pretty good strategy by that H&H Motorsports team. Stay out there a little longer, hope for a later caution, and maybe try and make it the rest of the distance. He is going to have to pit, but Rankin Sankey, somebody losing their tear-offs.
Looked like Richie Tobias might have had a box of tear-offs just come unhinged in there and go flying out the window in the USA 1. That could be a huge problem for him later on in the day.
Good battle right here between Dale Plank and Steve Hulsizer.
Oh, contact back there. Hulsizer ran over Dale Plank.
Plank slowed mysteriously. Matt Shepard has to take evasive action.
So the 77 of Plank looked as though the car might have jumped out of gear. Something obviously happened to the drivetrain of that car, and Plank is way off the pace, but we will stay green here at the Moody Mile.
That is the Ryan Jacobs owned number 77X, the East End Auto Parts and Constructions machine. Won a series race up at the Cornwall Motor Speedway earlier this year.
So Plank heads to pit road. They call him the natural. He limps that car to pit road. Coming up on the 50-lap mark, and Jimmy Phelps out in front comfortably. In fact, he stretched the lead.
He is only one of 5 cars that has not pitted yet, Rick.
Well, Phelps has burned off a lot of fuel in that 98 car, so lighter tanks allowing him to stretch that lead nicely. But if the cars who pitted, how about the doctor, Danny Johnson, up to 6th now, Mark?
We're down here with Mike Burke. Mike, the halfway's coming up. You guys didn't stop the last time. Are you trying to shoot for the halfway money?
Not really so much concerned with the halfway money. We're just trying to, trying to get a little advantage a bit early, and hopefully the cautions kind of fall our way. Maybe around lap 130, 140. We can pit. Just kind of the whole short pit deal. That was what we're thinking. So just gonna wait and see how it goes.
Guys are saying that their tires are blistering. Your tire looked pretty good when it came off. Does Danny say anything on the radio about the feel of the car?
The car's still tight. We changed the right rear there in our last pit stop around lap 30. Put our right rear on, try to free the car up a little bit, but it didn't seem to help. So just going to hold on right around to the next caution there. Hopefully it's around lap 120, 130.
So we're down here in the Danny Johnson kit.
Steve Hulsizer in that 88 having a sensational run. He's one of the cars that have not pitted yet. He's back there in position number 5.
Had that contact with Dale Plank a few moments ago. Let's get on board with Tim Fuller, 18th for the pole sitter, who led the first 40-plus laps before making his first stop of the day.
And that view over the rear deck lid is the one that Fuller wants everyone else to have at the end of 200 laps.
Behind Fuller, the Hurricane, Steve Payne, and car number 7 as he works his way out of turn 2. Fuller certainly can afford to be patient, but you've got to be mindful of track position here, and you certainly don't want to get caught out. There's Jack Johnson, 62 years young in that 12. He told me last year, this is the last time I'll be here for the Eckerd 200. Guess what? He rolled in here earlier in the week, qualified terrifically fast.
2-time winner here at the Eckerd 200, the first New York State-born driver to win in 1979, and then he did it again in 1984.
I was going to say, he's been coming here just about since we started running this race 34 seasons ago.
He's only missed one Eckerd 200. Other than that, his record here has been spotless.
On board with Billy Decker, the Gypsum Express, the 91 car, the 4-time winner. And when it comes down to fuel mileage, my money's going to be on Decker. I have seen them steal this race a couple of times. Oh, trouble. Hulsizer way up out of the groove in the 88 car and off the gas. That'll bring out our 4th caution of the day with 62 laps on the board.
Steve Holsizer in the Bob Snyder-owned Thompson Road Tavern, number 88. A sensational run going here today. Put this car together specifically for Syracuse.
He was running 5th at the time that the car broke. That'll bring out the yellow, and the field will be brought under caution. All right, the New York State Fairgrounds getting set for a big dose of traffic onto pit road. The Eckerd 200. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the New York State Fairgrounds. Preparing for a restart. Danny Johnson takes the lead after a round of pit stop. Let's recap a little of what happened. Jimmy Phelps gave up the lead. He came to pit road in the 98. There's Tobias in the USA 1. Everybody scrambling to get new tires, new right rear. The 98 team wearing helmets on pit road. Not a bad idea.
A nice cautionary safety move by the H&H Motorsports team to protect their crews. Phelps a good stop. Chad Brockman beats him out with Andy Bicchetti right there in the 3rd spot.
Now the 98 team high-fiving on pit road. There's Brackman in the Pizza Logs entry. Almost won the small block 150-miler here earlier in Super Dirt Week. Danny Johnson will lead him to green, and Superman Shepherd on his tail. Back to racing at Syracuse.
Danny Johnson has won this race, and that was back in 1997, while the 44 of Matt Shepherd came oh so close a couple years ago to winning his first Eckerd 200, only to have a tire go flat 2 laps from the end.
Now this 98 running 3rd is the veteran Eddie Marshall out of Richfield, Connecticut, the Marshall Oil entry. He's a Lebanon Valley star. And a lot of action on the backstretch down into turn 3. A lot of drivers trying to pick up some positions here off that restart.
Ryan Godown in that number 26 out of Reno's, New Jersey. Right there behind him is that number 21J of Jeff Trombley. Godown won a sportsman race here on the mile a couple of Super Dirt weeks ago.
Rick Laubach in the 5 car. He was also a contender in the 358 race. Oh, what's the problem? Brett Hearn.
Guys, we're getting some white smoke out the back of the car. That 4, man. Smoke. Smoke. What you need?
Hearn, who's won this thing 5 times, he's had no luck at all since those 5 victories.
He won this race 5 times in 11 years and has not won since 1995.
Hearn trying to keep the 20 car out there, but he is off the pace. You can tell has a lot of smoke.
Smoking pretty good. Smoking pretty bad. You need to shut her down, buddy. Shut her down.
That's the call from pit road to the great veteran Brett Hearn. Go ahead and shut her down. His day is done, and we're not even to halfway.
Looked like he was laying some fluid down on the inside of the speedway, and it looks like he'll be able to get off on the back stretch.
Yeah, you can see some oil starting to show up on the body panels on the back end of the Wentworth Construction 20 car. So Brett Hearn from New Jersey will take that car to pit road. He'll use the back entrance here at the Moody Mile. And Hearn's day over prematurely one more time. Danny Johnson, though, has set sail. 71 laps on the board, opening up the lead over Matt Shepherd.
The Doctor was part of those first groups of cars to come down pit road on lap 28. Also in that group, Rick, 2nd place car, Matt Shepherd.
Shepherd in the 44. They call him Superman. Let's take a ride with Danny Johnson. Now, under ideal conditions, how many laps can you go before you need to stop here?
Anywhere between 113 and 117 laps. We've seen Billy Decker stretch at 117 laps. So these guys are looking at that, using that as the basis for their pit stops.
So if you're Danny Johnson, you're probably thinking, hey, if I can get to lap 85 and catch a yellow, I'm going to come to pit road and make my final stop of the day.
Anywhere from lap 85 on, you're going to see a lot of cars dive down pit road and try and make it to the end.
Superman Shepherd there in the 44 car has cycled to 2nd spot. Track position when you decide to pit at Syracuse, ever so important as we start to work toward halfway here this afternoon in the Eckerd 200. Now we've got some great battles all around the racetrack. There's the car of Eddie Marshall. Now this battle a little further back here. This is for 4th and 5th. Ryan Godown and Jeff Trombley.
Trombley having a fine run back there as the 21J out of Altamont, New York, making his first appearance in a bunch of years here on the mile.
To turn 3, everybody keeping those cars as straight as possible. Team starting to think about tires and fuel and when they'll try to make their last stop and go all the way. Danny Johnson, though, he's really in the catbird seat now as he stretches that lead and gets close to the opportunity to make his stop.
You know, he's been talking with his crew chief, Mike Burdick, over the one-way radio, wanting to feel the car out, and the car's handling very well. Look at the lead he's already established over Matt Shepherd.
Further back, Pat Ward, Jack Johnson doing battle. This is for 7th and 8th right now.
Ward was a part of those cars that stopped back on lap number 46, so Ward setting himself up for a late race pit stop as well.
Jack Johnson in that 12A, one of the great number and driver combinations for almost 40 years here in New York State and all across the Northeast in dirt modified racing. And Pat Ward's been at it a long time too. What'd you tell me, 30 years Pat Ward's been racing?
35 years he's been racing in central New York, not only in the big block modifieds, but also in the late models.
Every time I see Jack Johnson, I say, you know, you were running when I was a kid. He says, don't tell me that. 62, he feels 32. That's a great thing. We're further back now. Jimmy Horton in that white 42 car, and Kenny Tremont in the 115. They're chasing Alan Johnson back around 12th and 13th.
Those two drivers know how to get around this racetrack. Horton, the winner here in 87 and 94, Tremont in 99. Both of these guys are masters of the fuel mileage game.
Steve Payne in that yellow and red 7 car, also very much in the mix. As these drivers settle down, everyone keeping those cars straight. Tremont in the 115. Now, he's come ever so close here a few times.
A bunch of times. Back in 2004, just 2 years ago, he was leading at this point as they hit the backstretch, only to run out of gas, and Tim Fuller was able to get by him for the win.
A lesson well learned, I'm sure, for a veteran like Tremont, another Lebanon Valley regular over at East. Oh, and Andy McKinney. McKinney in the 4 car. He's cut down a left rear tire. He'll stop on the track. It's our 5th caution of the day here on lap 84. Now 116 laps from home. I've got to think that Danny Johnson and some other of the key players will decide to make a pit stop here.
You're going to see a lot of action on pit road, Rick, as these guys are going to be setting themselves to get up to the end of this race.
Now, McKinney lined up today 28th. He was 22nd after his stops. Danny Johnson getting set to make what could be the pit stop that pays $100,000 here at the New York State Fairgrounds. It depends on what his team can pull off on pit road and what the other contenders are able to do. Johnson, Shepard, Marshall, Laubach, and Ryan go down the top 5. We'll be back. We're back at the New York State Fairgrounds. Rush hour under it. It's the Eckerd 200. Danny Johnson, Super Matt Shepard, and Eddie Marshall, the top 3. And Shane, I've got to think that he's coming to pit road.
I would say going up the gas, put a right rear tire on it, and let's go to the finish. But, you know, Vernon's going to be trying to pass him to the pit. Pass him to the pit might get in trouble. So, like I said, what do you think, man? I think you change right rear and take out the fuel, can't you? We can change right rear with the fuel.
All right, here comes Danny Johnson heading to pit road. No thought of staying out to collect the halfway leader bonus here. Frank Cozy and Alan Johnson also coming to pit road. Mark Kenyon is standing by to watch the leader make his stop.
Danny Johnson down with the Troyer race car, number 27, slides it in, hits his marks perfectly. The crew swings into action. It's a little dangerous here. I want to see if I can't get a look at that right rear. To me, from here, it looks like it's feathering, but they're going to go no tires, as I said earlier. It looks like they're going to go no tires or left rear only. Johnson very slow. They get 1 can of fuel in. In the meantime, Alan Johnson and now Barron back in the pits. Cozy away.
Cozy's got a good run down the pit area. He is going to get out in front of Danny Johnson. Interesting strategy. The doctor did not take a right rear tire.
Big gamble for Danny Johnson. Alan Johnson's team, they finally have the 14 down and away. Brett Hearn done early today. He's with Andy.
Brett Hearn, how can one track be so cruel to one man?
I don't know, man. I guess I used up all my luck early on. Right now, all I can say is I just got to thank my sponsors, Wentworth Construction, Don Kruger, WLR, 417 Bus Lines, BPG, Matson Motorsports, the owners of the car. I don't know what else to say. There's not really anything else I can say, really. I mean, we've given it our best effort year in and year out, and we just can't finish this race. It's just
you look like you had something in the oiling system.
It looks like it either broke or loosened up an oil line on the left-hand side of the block. And, you know, these guys worked on the car all day yesterday. I know they went over it with a fine-tooth comb, and, you know, just not meant to be.
Syracuse is a tough racetrack. Being fast alone isn't enough.
You know as well as I do, Rick, he'll be back again next year to try and conquer the mile.
A labor of love for Brett Hearn and for all the drivers in the field here. All right, Frank Cozy will line up 18th. Danny Johnson will restart 19th. They're going to try to go 114 laps on tires and fuel. Mark Kenyon, how about it? Can they get it done here today?
Down here in the Johnson pit, no tires, just fuel. Is this your last stop?
Time will tell. As it stands right now, yes. Tire looked okay. Packed it full of fuel. Fuel shouldn't be an issue, and just told him to take care of that right rear tire. We should be all right.
Danny Johnson, this is it. Going for it.
The doctor's not the only one trying this strategy, though, Rick. Jimmy Horton, Alan Johnson, Frank Cozy, and a bunch of others. But what surprised me is Billy Decker did not come down pit lane. This is usually the time of the race when he does.
111 miles to go to settle it today here at Syracuse. Green flag back in the air. Rick Laubach in that yellow 5 car. He cycled to the lead. Side-by-side racing down in turn 2. Everybody stays clean, and we're on the backstretch.
Rick Laubach, he's out of Quakertown, Pennsylvania. That's the Dieter Schmidt-owned number 5 machine chauffeuring that ride this weekend.
Pat Ward in the 42 car restarts third. Now remember, he started up front along with Tim Fuller. Ward playing his cards beautifully here so far.
Sitting very pretty back there in the 3rd spot. Mentioned it earlier, he's had a fantastic dirt week 2006. Ran very good with the small blocks, running very good with the big blocks today.
It's Ryan go down in 2nd, and then white 26, and there he is. Jack Johnson in the 12A, running 4th. Decker is 7th, but as you pointed out, he's got to stop. Jelly and Chad Brackman's got a good day going.
Notice down in the pit area that Ronnie Johnson has now assumed the headset, talking to his dad Jack on the radio, helping him with this race.
Danny Johnson, meantime, in the 27J, trying to double here at Super Dirt Week. Already has the 358 modified victory to his credit. Oh, trouble! Coming out of turn 4, cars scatter. Somebody got off the gas big time. That looks like the 76 of Alton Palmer in trouble.
Jimmy Phelps had to shoot all the way down to the inside as Palmer heads to pit road.
Everybody's scattering, and one car in the wall. Is that Kenny Stafford? How did he get back out on the racetrack?
The kid moving around, the HS Edinger Trucking number 60. Looks like he swatted the wall up there in turn number 3.
Remember that Stafford's car caught on fire on pit road earlier. He had to bail out. I thought that car was toast. They got it fixed, got it back out, but now Stafford hammers the wall up in turn 3. Let's take a look first at Palmer here.
He slows coming off of turn number 4. You can see Danny Johnson just missed him as Jimmy Phelps went to the low side to get around the slowing 76.
That could have been a huge problem for some of the major contenders here. Meantime, here's Stafford.
Looks like he just got up in the marbles between turns number 3 and 4, and it sucked him right up to the wall. A heavy hit for the kid out of Homer, New York.
So Kenny Stafford's okay, but that car suffers heavy damage, and we are right back under caution at the New York State Fairgrounds. So Rick Laubach may come up smelling like a rose here. We're getting close to halfway. We'll be back at the New York State Fairgrounds. Working lap 94 of the Eckerd 200 at the New York State Fairgrounds, still under caution. Rick Laubach will stay out. He's going to try for the halfway leader bonus, but many of the other contenders head to pit road. Pat Ward, pole sitter Tim Fuller coming to a stop right now. Jack Johnson will pit as well.
Pat Ward slides the Gypsum Express in a little hot. Jack Johnson right behind him. The son Ronnie out of the race, runs around, checks the right rear tire. He's going to make the call on tires. Jack looks in the car. In the meantime, Gypsum Express, the 42P, right rear tire on, 2 cans of fuel. Jack Johnson down and away. No tires on the Johnson car. And it looks to me like these tires are feathering just a little bit. Richie Tobias out. They're going to hold him. Richie Tobias and Pat Ward out. There goes Fuller and Decker. So your big guys in and out.
2 different groups of contenders, 2 different strategies. Gamblers pitted on lap 84, the rest on lap 94. Let's get the thoughts of the crew chief for Tim Fuller. To Andy.
Down here with Dan Fuller, Timmy's brother in the Fuller pit. Looks like you've got gas, tires. You're going to go the distance.
Topped off on gas. Didn't change tires. Didn't look bad. But first gear's gone. We have to have the pushing power. So we decided not to change and just roll the dice.
We're down here with Ronnie Johnson. Ronnie, last year your dad said he wanted to work on your crew. You're down here working on his crew. No tires. The tire looked a little feathered. What was your call?
Well, we were going to talk about putting a tire on that yellow, and the old man said the only way you can win this race is gas and go at this point, and it's a gamble right now, Mark. You've seen the tire like I did. It's probably a third to half gone, but usually late in the race, the tire wear kind of goes away. We're talking to him, telling him he's got to nurse that tire, and hopefully it'll hold off.
Got to be a thrill of your life sitting here on the radio with the old man.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we broke something earlier, and I run right over to his pit area here. Hopefully we can help win this thing.
Ronnie Johnson going to help to put his dad, hope to put his dad in victory lane here at Super Dirt Week.
Just shows you how important family is in racing, Rick. When Ronnie fell out of the race, went right over and started helping Jumpin' Jack Johnson. And of course, if anybody can make that tire last to the end, it's going to be Jumpin' Jack.
Well, with all the experience he brings to bear, and he's as smooth as they come still at age 62, I wouldn't count him out at all. Rick Laubach, meantime, wants the halfway bonus. $5,000 posted by the folks at Aramark Uniform Services. On lap 98, the green is back in the air. Laubach is your leader, but there's some shuffling. Danny Johnson heads to the high side.
Strategy is over now, Rick. It's race time. You have to make your move to put yourself in position. You did it in the pits. Now you have to do it on the racetrack.
Ryan go down in the 26 car. Continues to run second behind Rick Laubach in that 5. Now that 5 car, it's a pretty famous race team in modified circles.
Dieter Schmidt is the owner of that ride. Doug Hoffman's driven that car. So is Billy Pouch. Now Rick Laubach is behind the wheel looking to pick up a nice little piece of pocket change.
Laubach continues to lead, go down about a dozen car lengths back in second position. Should see the halfway, the cross flags next time by. And for Laubach, winning that bonus, winning the halfway, can be very, very important. It can make a statement about what you can get done here at the New York State Fairgrounds on the Moody Mile. Here's Laubach out of turn 4. This will be a $5,000 lap from the driver from Pennsylvania. There it is. Rick Laubach earns the halfway bonus from Aramark. Andy Fusco, how do they plan to get him home today?
You just got the halfway money, $5,000 from Aramark Uniforms. What's the game plan from here on out?
I guess we're just going to wait and see if we can get the next caution. Next caution, 2 tires, 2 cans of fuel, and go from there. But Rick's doing a hell of a job out there, and Dieter's got a good crew, good equipment, and good owner. So we're just going to take it as it comes in from there.
Only 2 drivers have won the halfway bonus and the race. Bob McCready did it in 1986. Billy Decker did it last year.
Well, I would say for Laubach to have a chance, he need another caution very quickly. Give him an opportunity to stop under yellow, get back to the end of the long line, and then have plenty of time to work his way back to the front of the pack. Danny Johnson, meantime, looking as though he's in very good shape in that Troyer chassis car, the 27J.
Yes, Jimmy Phelps, Matt Shepard right there with them as well. These cars are very good early on, and they're very good at this portion of the race.
Dr. Schoen in 7th spot. There's Tobias in the USA 1 with Jack Johnson in tow now. They have made their stops as well. They stopped much more recently than did Danny Johnson.
Tobias is staying now down in the middle to the lower portion of the groove. The only time he goes to the top side is when he has a chance to pass somebody. So Toby Tobias looking to save those tires.
Pat Ward there in 21st. These cars 19th, 20th, and 21st now. With less than 100 miles to go today at Syracuse. Back on board with Danny Johnson up in 7th position.
A tight operating room for the doctor today with all the safety equipment in there, but he's had a fantastic car underneath him. A good handling car, and you need that here at Syracuse.
Jimmy Horton in the 42, Frank Cozy in the 44. A couple of guys who've been at this an awfully long time, side by side for a position in the top 12.
Cozy went to the top side to try and get around Jimmy Phelps, and that opened up the bottom side for the Horton number 42 to take advantage to get the position.
Phelps in the 98. Remember, he ran second in the early laps here. He and Tim Fuller ran up front for quite some time. They're working their way methodically back to the front. Matt Shepard there in the 44. So these cars all plenty quick now, and they should be okay to go to the finish.
Matt Shepard tried to get around Danny Johnson on the top side. Maybe he showed his hand a little bit, or was he trying to force the issue with Danny Johnson to make him push that 27J a little extra harder?
Johnson in 7th, Shepard is 8th, and that's a challenge for position as they race down into turn 3. There's Johnson with Shepard. Phelps right behind him. 7th, 8th, and 9th on the racetrack.
You know, Billy Colton from Troyer Chassis has to be happy with the performance of not only Danny Johnson, but also that number 98H of Jimmy Phelps and the number 1 machine of Toby Tobias. And of course, right there in position, right there in front of them, is the 44S of Matt Shepard, a super race car for Super Matt.
91 to go. Jimmy Horton in the top 10. He gets by Frank Cozy. Vinny Vitale with a good day. He's 12th right now. Donnie Corellis and Alan Johnson fighting for 14th in this battle. Here's Cozy right behind as they push each other off of turn 4. Shepard and Phelps are there. Horton and Cozy.
Wow, Jimmy Horton, a nice move on the top side with the number 42. That's a big Nell chassis going around the top side to take the position away. That is Rick Grasso's car. Rick Grasso owns that car. It's the Grasso Trucking Millennium Car Wash sponsored machine.
No change there for 7th. It's still Johnson. Shepherd right behind him in 8th. Phelps is there with 9th. Now Horton has gotten around. He's 9th in that 42. Oh, and Bobby Varon. Varon in the 1 car. Jody Gable's machine. He's out of power on the front straightaway, and that will bring out the caution. Our 6th yellow of the day. They're on lap 111. Now, the guys who stopped early on lap 86, looks like Varon's got a cut tire. They needed some caution laps to get home, didn't they?
And this will help them if they head down pit road.
Laubach is still the leader. We'll be back.
Days. The creators of Finding Nemo and Toy Story have done it again.
Okay, I'm good.
It's the #1 animated movie of the year.
This is the most glorious day of my life.
With an all-new exclusive short, Mater and the Ghost Line.
I don't need a map. I have the GPS. Never need a map again.
Disney Pixar's Cars. Own it on DVD this Tuesday.
Yeah, I get my left 2 lug nuts, something like that.
We welcome you back to Syracuse, and Rick Laubach in the 5 car decides to head for pit road, Shane.
It looks like he may be going farther than that, Rick. It looks like he's going to make the sharp left-hand turn and take it behind the wall.
Laubach stays on the track, collects the halfway leader bonus. Something's broken on the race car. He will not be around for the second half today. Danny Johnson, Jimmy Horton right there, ready to do battle as we're set to restart at the Moody Mile. Now, the cars that were running behind Laubach also decided to pit under that caution, and that shuffles Danny Johnson to the lead now.
Everybody recycles around, and how about Jimmy Horton, Rick? Started in 29th position, up to position number 2, and has put himself in prime spot for a chance to win this Eckerd 200.
71 laps to go today at the New York State Fairgrounds. The 35th running of the Eckerd 200, almost $250,000 up for these dirt big block modified stars. And Danny Johnson would love nothing more than to carry that $100,000 check home today when he leaves Syracuse. And he is opening up the lead for second spot. Jimmy Phelps putting pressure on Horton.
Phelps has been quick all Super Dirt Week. He won one of the Triple 20 qualifying events. He time trialed 3rd fastest a Super Dirt Week for Jimmy Phelps.
Been outstanding for that H&H team. Danny Johnson out in front. Donnie Corellis and Alan Johnson run 5th and 6th now, with 70 miles of racing yet to come here at the New York State Fairgrounds. And the doctor says, I like it when they battle behind me. It lets him open up more of a lead now.
And those cautions do help Danny Johnson conserve on some fuel and his tires. We talked earlier about these cars going anywhere from 113 to 117 laps on a tank of fuel, but that's including caution laps. We never see a full 117 green flag laps here on the mile.
Meantime, Jimmy Horton's got his hands full on that 42 car. Right behind him is Phelps. More of a young gun, you might say. Frank Cozy in the 44. He's been at this game a long time as well. The Cozy family, they've fielded cars since the 60s. Meantime, Superman Shepherd back to 24th as he tries to cycle his way back into contention.
Stopped on lap 112 and has since dropped back a few positions as the 44, no stranger to the mile as well. He's won the 358 race here. He also won the Sportsman event.
Shepherd and Ryan go down, running nose to tail. As we watch that battle form down into turn number 3.
Interesting top 4 here with Danny Johnson and Jimmy Horton. Both of them have won here on the mile. Jimmy Phelps making a statement run here today, has never won on the mile. Frank Cozy back there in 4th came so close back in 1989, 10 laps from the end. That was the race Alan Johnson won. Cozy was leading. He got into a wreck that year with Danny Johnson. Took them both out of the race.
Danny Johnson is still your leader. Second spot still belongs to Horton. 3rd is Phelps. 4th is Cozy. Next group of traffic back behind about 12 to 15 car lengths. There's Eddie Marshall in the 98. Pat Ward in the 42P and his teammate Billy Decker in the 91. Let's get on board here with Decker.
And we'll look out at the number 19 of Tim Fuller, the pole sitter. Fuller having to work his way back up through this pack as well. But you see who's in front of him? That number 19, ageless veteran, Kenny Brightbill. We talked so much about Jay Johnson. How about Kenny Brightbill, a winner in this event as well?
One of my favorite guys out of Sinking Springs, Pennsylvania. You know, he and Jack Johnson together have accounted for more than 1,000 feature victories in modified competition.
Listen to Decker just roll that car ever so smoothly through the corners, conserving gas and tire wear. That's why Billy Decker's a master on this mile.
Decker knows he's got plenty of time. More than 60 laps to go. Needs to get around Pat Ward. Decker knows he can more or less let this race come to him. See if the cards fall right. He could find himself in the top 3 or 4 with a shot at victory late in the race. That's all he wants.
Different pit strategy this year for Billy Deckard. Now he is starting to push that car a little bit more to get up to the front of this field.
There's that Tabloid Graphics 19 of Bright Bill out of Pennsylvania. Runs 11th, 12th is Jack Johnson in the 12A. Great to see guys like that still twisting the wheel.
Jumping Jack getting on the hammer heavy through turns number 4 that time. Did you see that right rear fender smoke up? And Decker just got around Ward.
Decker using the high side. Says, I'll see you later to his teammate. He is trying to head to the front. Up to 13th now. But Johnson and Brightville will not be easy marks here at Syracuse.
Fuller just got by the wall.
Oh, trouble. Jimmy Phelps has got a problem in that 98.
Looks like a tire shredded.
Sure does. Right rear is down. And it's our 7th caution here with 60 to go. Phelps has got to be careful. He could tear up the bodywork if he doesn't slow down enough.
Listen, you got to come in the next time around. Try staying with the field if you can.
They don't want him to give up track position.
That was the voice of crew chief Randy Kosacki. That's one of the things that he brings to this team, a calmness to the driver talking to him. And you see Jimmy Phelps, that tire goes down, almost got the wall. Oh, boy, he just brushed it with the right front.
When the right rear goes down on you in the middle of the corner here at Syracuse, there's not much you can do except get out of the gas and hang on. Phelps did a nice job to avoid a hard impact into the concrete. So Danny Johnson says this is great. He needs caution laps to be able to make his strategy work today at the New York State Fairgrounds. 59 to go. We'll be back. We welcome you back to the New York State Fairgrounds alongside Shane Andrews, I'm Rick Benjamin, Andy Fusco, and Mark Kenyon on pit road for us. Coverage of the 35th Eckerd 200. Danny Johnson leads us back to green. 57 miles to go to settle things here today.
The Doctor got a great restart. He opened up a quick 8-car length advantage over the 42 of Jimmy Horton.
One car a little bit high, but stays off the wall. Danny Johnson continues to lead. Horton runs second with 56 to go. Third spot belongs to Cozy in the 44.
As we get closer to the end of this race, Rick, now is the time where you have to start hitting your marks on a consistent basis. You don't want to be out of that groove. If you get up in the cinders and in the marbles, your day is over because you'll hit the wall.
We're getting down to that point in the race as well where track position will be key. If you need to stop again, you need to be very careful about when you decide to do it. One car in trouble. That's the X machine of Chad Phelps. Looks as though he may have a tire down.
Chad Phelps, it looks like a right front flat. He is a rookie in this race, his first start in the Eckerd 200.
And he will get to pit road. We will not go to yellow, and we'll continue with the green displayed for Danny Johnson, who stretches that lead now over Jimmy Horton. I don't think Horton's got enough speed in that 42 car to track down the Doctor.
I wonder if it's a little cat and mouse game going on. He knows that there's a little less than 50 laps remaining. He's just biding his time. Maybe he thinks that Danny Johnson doesn't have enough gas to go the distance.
Could be. As we watch Jack Johnson in the 12A, there's Decker in the 91. In 11th spot, starting to come to life a little bit here. Decker knows if he's going to have a shot at his 5th Eckerd 200 victory, he can't wait around much longer. And Chad Brockman in trouble. Caution again on lap 147. Brockman has popped the wall in the 3 car.
You can see the damage on the right rear of the car. Notice the rim has been on the number 3.
Well, Brockman had a great day earlier in Super Dirt Week in the 358 modified event. His day here will not be nearly as successful. Chad Brockman will have to come to pit road in the Pizza Logs entry. Under caution, 53 to go. Danny Johnson is still the leader. We'll be back. Back in Syracuse, getting set for a restart in the Eckerd 200. Now, Alan Johnson is the Mr. Dirt Series point leader, Mark Kenyon. He's in contention now.
Down here in the Alan Johnson pit, you guys, we have you stopping at lap 86. You say 87. You're in the midst of a point battle here, plus you're trying to win this race. Is that, you guys a little concerned?
We're trying to win the race.
To heck with the points.
Well, I'm not saying that. We're trying to win the race. We're just going to see what plays out here in the end.
They're going all the way. Alan Johnson, always the warrior, trying to win this race, and in the midst of a point battle could be another Mr. Dirt.
Essentially, Alan can clinch his 5th Mr. Dirt championship here today by finishing ahead of Billy Decker. AJ won his first Mr. Dirt championship in 1981. 25 years later, he would have his 5th title.
One of the things that makes this just such an entertaining form of racing, you've got young guns and you've got veterans who've been doing this for 30-plus years, and Alan Johnson, certainly one of the great stars of Super Dirt Weekend of Dirt Motorsports. 50 to go at Syracuse. We're back underway. His brother Danny continues to show the way. What a late season run the Doctor has had in those 27J machines, both the small block and the big block. But he's got a passel of fast race cars right behind him.
Incredible last couple of weeks. Danny Johnson won the Victoria 200 at the Fulton Speedway, won the 358 modified race during Super Dirt Week this year. Both of those races paid $20,000. 40 grand Dan so far. Can he add an extra 100,000 to his paycheck?
Somehow I think he'd find room in the hauler to call that check back home after the festivities are over here today if he can close the deal on the Moody Mile. But he's got guys nipping at his heels, including Frank Cozy in the 44. Alan Johnson in that. Oh, the 21 car gets sideways.
Wow, Donnie Corrales hung that out to dry. You can see the taillights on the back bumper. That rear end was that far around.
Richie Tobias in the USA 1, who was so fast earlier, nearly collected Corrales as they came off of turn 2. And I'm wondering, does Corrales have something broken in that race car?
Tobias had to get on the binders, and that allows everybody in front of them to open up an advantage right now, so that costs Tobias and everybody else, including Billy Decker, a little bit of ground on the speedway.
We've talked about Decker a lot today in the Gypsum Express. Car number 91, there's Eddie Marshall out of Richfield, Connecticut, the Marshall Oil entry. Very strong in the top 10. Corrales still battling, still fighting that 21. He's got a problem. Tobias gets by. Decker couldn't get by him on the backstretch. He'll try to get around here in turn 4. Meantime, trouble for the other 21 car. This is Jeff Trombley's machine. The left rear wheels come off that car. Caution waves on lap 153. It's our 9th yellow of the afternoon.
A tough break for Jeff Trombley. He was running 5th, being challenged by the 88 of J.R. Hefner when the wheels came out from underneath him.
And that wheel at speed down the front straightaway here. It's going to be up against the fence. Now here's one more look out of turn 4.
When they came in through the corner, the left rear tire comes right off the 21 of Jeff Trombley. He shoots down to the inside, but the wheel goes to the top side out into the racing surface.
Trombley certainly had his hands full. Couple of more looks here.
As that wheel comes back down into the racing groove, watch Wayne Jelly clips the tire and puts it right back in front of everybody as the field comes by.
Bobby Varon threw the one car sideways to avoid that tire. Now, you might think that's kind of funny, but if you've ever been around one of those things, they weigh a couple of 100 pounds, and that tire's probably going, what, 60, 70 miles an hour?
Easily, and it sent everybody in the pit area scrambling for cover. Fortunately, nobody got hurt.
So the 21 of Jeff Trombley stops against the wall. And Danny Johnson says that'll be just fine because more caution laps will help him get home here today. The crew's starting to wonder. We'll be back at Syracuse. Less than 20 laps remain to settle things in the Eckerd 200 at the New York State Fairgrounds. And Jimmy Horton may have a shot today. How about it, Andy Fusco?
A week ago, this wasn't even a team, Herb.
Well, we had the team, but we didn't have the car yet. We decided early in September to come. There was some decision whether we were going to come or not. We didn't get the car till like Wednesday or Thursday, and then going to bed 2 o'clock every night for a couple of nights. Put the car together. Jimmy had it ready by Sunday, and just little things going on Monday and Tuesday, and brought it to the track. So we've been working hard on it. The guys on the team are all been with him a long time, either friends or former racers or fellow racers. So we're doing pretty good, and he's calling the race from the car. So we got a good guy in the seat, and a good guy calling things too.
Now I assume the number 42 has some significance here.
Well, it does and it doesn't. Really, Jimmy's number is 43, but when his son started racing, he thought, well, let me turn that over to him. And so he took the next best number, the 42. That's how it was. And, of course, Ricky Grasso, our car owner, has 24, so it's just the opposite.
A nice story that came together for Jimmy Horton this week. Jack Johnson, looks like that right rear tire that they had on wasn't going to go the distance.
So they bring the 12A to pit road. That'll end Jack's bid for victory here at age 62. Still won a couple of big block races, at Fonda, which has been his playground for a long time this year.
The all-time leading feature winner at the Fonda Speedway, over 150 victories. He also has a record here in Dirt Motorsports, 6-time Mr. Dirt champion.
It's been an unbelievable career. Johnson will line up 22nd for the restart. Danny Johnson's got this one under control. 17 to go. We're back underway, and we'll see if anybody like Billy. Oh, they're 4 wide down into turn 1. Who's that on the high side trying to make up some ground there?
Jimmy Phelps in the 98H. That car has been fast all week long, looking to get around Eddie Marshall on the top side. And a little contact with Marshall as they race with Pat Ward.
Pat Ward in the 42P started up front here today. He and Marshall get by. And Matt Shepard in the mix as well here as the laps wind down. There'll be 15 to go very shortly here at Syracuse. Shepard trying to find his way back into contention. Danny Johnson looks as though he's got this thing pretty well in hand. We'll see if Jimmy Horton has anything for him as Phelps just whistles by those cars on the high side.
Phelps working a different line down into corner number 1 and 2, trying to make up some ground. He still has a lot of good cars ahead of him, though, if he wants to get up there and run with the doctor.
Running order top left of your screen. Donnie Corellis is 9th behind Tim Fuller. Billy Decker shown 7th. Phelps up to 11th last time around with Eddie Marshall in 12th position. Richie Tobias in that USA 1 meantime in the top 5. Now he's the first of the cars that pitted just before the 100 lap mark. He could end up in great shape here.
If the cars are in front of him, including this driver, Danny Johnson, who pitted on lap 84, have problems, he's put himself in a prime position to win.
But Johnson able to run all by himself out in front in clean air. He's got almost a 2-second lead now over Jimmy Horton.
Sounds like he's carrying the car a little bit longer through the corner, not using the gas pedal that heavy until he needs to. And really, there's no pressure coming from Jimmy Horton or anybody else, so Danny Johnson can conserve a little bit more at this point.
Danny Johnson has not put a wheel wrong all day here. They've been very good on pit road. The strategy has worked perfectly. It's just a question now, have they run enough caution laps to allow him to make it on fuel? Battling further back, meantime, for 5th and 6th. J.R. Hefner. Billy Decker going at it. There's Decker in the 91 car.
Decker starting to put a hot lunch to things. He wants to get up there and race with the 88 of Hefner. Hefner's been quiet all race long, coming from the 20th position. Got a guaranteed starting spot for the Eckerd 200 by winning a 200-lap race at Lebanon Valley Speedway.
Take a look at the top 10 here, and it's all veterans with the exception of J.R. Hefner, who's been around a while, but you'd sort of consider him a young gun when you stack him up against guys like Decker and Jimmy Horton, and certainly Danny Johnson. And trouble here for the 84 car. Gary Tompkins off the pace.
That's the Honey Auto Parts Red Parker excavating machine, Doug Doolin own ride, and Tompkins having trouble. It looks like he's going to limp around the inside of corner number 2, and it looks like get it down off the racetrack into the pit area.
Tough break for Gary Tompkins, who's had a difficult season in that 84 car, but always a contender on the dirt modified tour. He'll head to the pits, the backstretch entrance there, the cinder track. Danny Johnson now, the sun starting to set at Syracuse, and it's very, very dusty. The cinders really flying now as the battle rages for position. Billy Decker's powered his way to 5th. How about it, Mark Kenyon? Can he get to the lead here?
We're down here with Scott Jeffrey. Scott, you guys are quietly under the radar here. What's the story? You're the best at this fuel mileage deal.
Well, I mean, I seem to think that we're one of the best at saving fuel, and we got a group of guys in front of us that are trying to go like 10 more laps than us. We're just going to have to ride out and see what happens. I think we've got a good game plan right now, and hopefully it'll work out for us.
You guys are okay, dead okay on fuel. You're not worried about that. How about your tire wear?
Well, I'm still worried on fuel. I mean, it's not a racetrack to conserve fuel, really, and tires are in the same boat, so it's going to be close for everybody.
Decker guys playing their cards right to the chest. They know how to win. This could be one for the thumb for these boys.
And Billy Decker is putting pressure on Alan Johnson and Frank Cozy. This is where it is in the point of the race to steal a line from Mark Kenyon. Go time.
3rd, 4th, and 5th in play, and can any of these cars close in on the top 2? Danny Johnson meantime.
20, and 10 to go.
10 laps to go, and he's got about a 12-car length lead over Horton, who's quicker at the moment.
They're telling Danny to back it off just a little bit, but Horton's catching him.
Jimmy Horton, who knows how to win here. Look at this.
5 off, outside.
Jimmy Horton to the lead. Danny Johnson will try to battle back in the 27J, though. Johnson on the outside down the backstretch. Bounces it off the wall and gets back to the lead.
Wow, what a
You're
move.
a man right there, buddy.
Jimmy Horton pulled on him on the front stretch. The doctor does it on the narrowest portion of the speedway, down the back straightaway.
You almost wonder if Danny Johnson just didn't know that Jimmy Horton was that close to him. The way Horton drove by, and then there's trouble now on the front straightaway. We've got a car with difficulties. Frank Cozy shredded a right rear tire. Caution again for the 10th time with 9 laps to go.
I'll bet you the Johnson crew is thinking, do we have enough on that right rear tire? Frank Cozy was running third when this tire went down.
And he was one of that group of cars that stopped with about 115 laps to go. Here's the move by Horton.
Look at that. Got a great run on Danny Johnson off of corner number 4 and dive bombs it down to the inside as your race leader.
But Danny Johnson, once he knew that Horton had gotten by him, went right up on the berm, thought he had clipped the wall, and drove back around to retake the point.
For those of you familiar with the backstretch at Syracuse, 690 is 2 miles away. Danny Johnson almost used it to get around Horton for the lead.
Well, they put a new tire on the Cozy 44 and send Frank down and away, but his chances to win are gone. Danny Johnson will be the restart leader when we come back at Syracuse. Welcome back to Syracuse. Just a couple of laps to go to settle things in the Eckerd 200, the 35th running of Super Dirt Week. Let's take a look at how we got to this point. Our race recap. Tim Fuller had the pole, and off the initial start, David Hebert went off of turn 4 and whacked the wall. Some controversy as to whether he might have had some help, possibly from Brett Hearn. Fuller would lead the first 45 laps in the 19 car before having to take a pit stop. On lap 86, Danny Johnson made what could be the decisive stop of the day. Into pit road, they decide not to change right rear tires. They filled him up with fuel and sent it back on the racetrack. Now, Rick Laubach elected to stay out through the halfway mark. He earned the $5,000 halfway leader bonus, but the 5 car would give up the ghost shortly thereafter. Laubach's day was done prematurely here at Syracuse. 70 laps to go. Danny Johnson leading Jimmy Horton and Jimmy Phelps. These 3 are all prime contenders. Danny Johnson's been in control for quite some time. But Phelps had a right rear go away. He got up and brushed the wall, and then a few moments later, Jeff Trombley lost the left rear wheel literally off his 21 car. The tire bounced harmlessly down the front straightaway. 9 laps to go, and Jimmy Horton put a move on Danny Johnson on the front straightaway to take the lead. Perhaps Danny's spotter didn't let him know exactly what the situation was, because on the backstretch, Johnson drove right up on the berm, nearly clipped the wall, and retook the lead from Jimmy Horton. Moments ago, Frank Cozy's right rear tire went away. The 44 car slowing on the outside down into the corner. That brought out our most recent yellow and sets up this restart with just a couple of laps remaining to settle things here at the Moody Mile. Quickly to Mark Kenyon.
Down here in the Johnson pit, tell me about that pass and pass back for the lead.
I don't know. That's a doctor for you. Yeah, and anybody else try to drive like him, they'd be in a wall.
Did he have a problem with the car? Did it pop out of gear or something?
No, it's just he was just trying to lay off the gas and try to conserve some fuel, and Horton got up on him pretty good there pretty fast and caught him off guard. But, you know, this Troy race cars, I got to thank Billy Colton for giving us a hell of a race car there. You know, like I said before, he's a doctor.
Danny Johnson, you got to go some to out-snooker him.
Danny Johnson, outside of a race car, is one of the friendliest, easygoing guys you'll ever meet. But when he's behind the wheel of the 27J, he becomes Danimal.
4 laps to go at Syracuse, and we're back underway. Alan Johnson in the 14 and Billy Decker back there. They run 3rd and 4th. Now, does Horton have anything for the doctor? Heading to the backstretch, $100,000 in the balance.
You know, all those guys in the top 5 know Frank Cozy lost that tire. They've got to be wondering, can Danny Johnson's tires hold up? Can Jimmy Horton's tires hold up? Billy Decker and Alan Johnson want to stay in contention, and that's right where they are, just waiting for something to happen.
And do they have enough fuel? We've seen it happen here. Leaders running out of fuel on the final lap. 3 to go. No change. Johnson, Horton, and Alan Johnson, the top 3.
Danny Johnson looking to make a little bit of history. Only one driver in the history of Super Dirt Week has won both the 358 race and the Big Block race in the same year. That, of course, was done by Brett Hearn in 1990.
That would be akin to winning a Busch Series race and then a Nextel Cup event on Sunday. Johnson on the turn 4. 2 to go at Syracuse.
What do you think is going through Danny Johnson's mind right now? Everything. He is listening to that car. He is feeling every little idiosyncrasy of that car right now.
Horton trying to draw a bead on the 27J. He got by him once already. Down into 3. White flag this time by. Danny Johnson nice and smooth on the inside.
Jimmy Horton really pedaling hard.
1 to go. That was for 3rd. Danny Danny Johnson by 8 car lengths onto the backstretch.
5, 5, 5, 5.
Jimmy Horton trying to reel him in one more time. Down into 3 they go. Horton kicks her sideways, but Danny Johnson. Danny Johnson will double at Syracuse. Danny Johnson sweeps Super Dirt Week 35. He wins his second Eckerd 200, goes 114 laps on tires and fuel, Mark Kenyon.
Down here in the Johnson pit, you guys pulled it off. A great gutsy call, and you made it work.
Yeah, that's the deal here at Syracuse every year. You got to take a chance. You're not going to win the race. We knew early going in that that's what it was going to take, and you know, Danny and I got together, made that call, and we were sweating early on, man. I tell you, I didn't think we were going to make. I thought we were going to run out about 10 laps to go. I got to thank Dave Thompson, the car owner. He brought me up here from North Carolina, put us together a hell of a race team. These guys are great.
A lot of emotion down here in the Danny Johnson pit. We'll head over to Victory Lane where there's going to be an elated Danny Johnson. The only driver that ever swept both races, Brett Hearn. Now Danny Johnson puts his name in there.
Syracuse so full of emotion, you could hear it in Mike Burdick's voice. He left MB2 Racing to come up here and work with the doctor.
Danny Johnson with a winning move on the backstretch. Jimmy Horton had passed him for the lead. Same lap, the doctor took the lead back. Johnson becomes the 9th dirt modified driver to win more than one Eckerd 200s in his career. In Victory Lane now, Mark Kenyon.
Here he comes, Danny Johnson crawling out of the 27J Troyer race car. Sweep of the weekend. He won yesterday, again today. Danny Johnson sweeps Super Dirt Week. And this is a huge win for them. This guy has gone through some ups and downs, been through some different rides, just put this deal together. And they love Danny Johnson here. The crew is jubilant. Troyer Race Cars just puts a Troyer back in Victory Lane in Syracuse, and it's been a little while. I know Billy Colton's going to be happy with this. Let's get a word in here with him. Danny, talk to me, Danny. We talked 2 days in a row. It was an unbelievable race, the fuel mileage where you're holding your breath. I heard at one point you told the crew on the radio it's in the bank.
No, never in the bank. Unbelievable. That's all I know. I've gone 113 laps here before with a full tank and ran out. And I think we went 114 today.
Yes, you did.
So it's just a chance we had to take. We took it. It was a great weather day, so I thought that really helped the mileage too. So just hats off to the great race car and a great crew.
Tell me about that pass back there with Horton. You lost the lead and got it right back. Tell me about that, because that had everybody on the edge of their seat.
Well, I thought their crew was telling me I had like 15 lead, and they must have been saying 5, I guess. I'm not sure, but he caught me sleeping. I mean, we had poor radio communications, and it cost us a lead there momentarily, but luckily I got it right back.
What does this mean to you and more to Billy Colton to put a Troyer car in Victory Lane here at Syracuse?
I think it's a great victory for Billy. It's for me myself. I almost can't fathom it myself. It's just incredible. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I mean, I gotta thank Dave Thompson for giving me the ride here in the car, and it's just a superb opportunity. He's got a lot of good people around him.
Let me give you another stat. You're the only driver other than Brett Hearn to ever sweep both races here at the mile.
Man, it's awesome. It's really awesome.
Well, I'll let you go. Danny, where are you going from here?
We're gonna go to Eckerd's.
Danny Johnson, in a span of 8 days, has won 3 of the 4 biggest dirt races of the year. The Victoria 200, the 358 race here at Dirt Week, and now the Eckerd 200, $140,000.
Great run for the doctor, who started in the 5th row today, wins the Eckerd 200 at Syracuse. Horton gets second. Now Danny's brother Alan bags the Mr. Dirt Big Block title by finishing 3rd.
Pole sitter Tim Fuller finishes 7th. Bobby Varon comes home 11th after troubles early on.
Wayne Jelly, Kenny Tremont, Justin Hares, and Ryan go down. There's Bright Bill in 16th, and Frank Cozy, after that tire failure, ends up 20th. Jack Johnson gets 21st.
Gary Tompkins credited with 24th. Rookie of the race, Chad Phelps in 25th. Jeff Hetzler finishes 30th, one spot behind Brett Hearn.
Halfway leader Rick Laubach left the race shortly thereafter. He gets credit for 31st in front of Alton Palmer. Billy Dunn, Andy McKinney had tire problems.
Jessica Zemkin, the first woman to start, finishes in position number 40.
Vic Coffey had troubles early, as did Pete Bicknell, Jeff Brownell. Pat O'Brien started at the back and finished there. David Hebert went out before one lap was complete. A thrilling ride for Danny Johnson, but it had to be a frustrating outcome for Jimmy Horton, who runs second. He's with Andy.
Jimmy Horton, you won this race in 1987 and 1994. Almost again, just a little short.
Yeah, we had him where we want him. I just, I fell asleep off too. You know, I just trying to save fuel, and I should have got away from him. And, you know, the race was ours. You know, we had a better race car, and we're just trying to save fuel. And, you know, like I said, I played all my cards right. I just fell asleep.
Talk us through that incredible lap where the two of you swapped the lead twice in one lap.
Yeah, I wish it was the other way around, but like I said, that was our game plan, to try to lull them asleep. It worked, and then I fell asleep.
Reminiscent of 1988, Jimmy Horton leading with only a handful of laps remaining. Got in the marbles in turn 3. Kenny Brightbill got by for the win.
And you know, at Horton's stage of career, same with Danny Johnson, really, you don't have too many more chances probably to pick up a big win like the win here at Syracuse in the Eckerd 200. Horton tried valiantly, but Danny Johnson made one of the great moves of all time on the backstretch with a couple of laps to go. It was winner wreck for DJ. He got it done and goes to victory lane for the second time in the Eckerd 200. A wild one here at Syracuse to wrap up Super Dirt Week 35. Well, for Shane Andrews, Mark Kenyon, and Andy Fusco, I'm Rick Benjamin. Hope you enjoyed our coverage of the Eckerd 200. We congratulate Danny Johnson, the winner of the Eckerd 200.